Yo, what is happening, couch doodlers, dudes, dudettes, artistic folks? How you doing? Today is an auspicious day. We will call it the Day of Rob. Today we have a special guest. His name is Rob Willis. We're waiting for him to come on, and in the meantime, I'm going to tell you guys a little story about 30 years ago. It was a Sunday. It was in San Francisco. It was at a show called the Pelican. The Pelican uh, was a very awesome show in the Bay Area. It had artists like Arthur Adams and Derek Robertson and Eric Larson. And it also featured none other than Rob Liefeld. Like I explained in previous episodes, Rob Liefeld gave me a fantastic portfolio review. Some of what I didn't mention was that my friend had also got his portfolio reviewed and brought some money to buy some art while he was there. And a piece of art that he bought was a sketch of a character that no one ever seen before because Rob was working on a book that hadn't come out yet. The book was known to us later on as The New Mutants, issue 86. And in it, he drew this character named Strife. Strife was the sketch my buddy Mike bought. And the great thing is that that sketch had Rob Liefeld's personal information in it. So what ended up happening is I ended up faxing, because that's what happened back in the day, faxing. I ended up faxing the guy, sending him Xerox copies through the mail, everything that you could do to basically contact. This is weird. It says it's connected Rob to an old broadcast. I'm going to send him the invite again. Let me copy this link. Copy. I'm going to go to Twitter real quick while you guys are on. Hopefully I could sign on. Log in, it says. Hopefully that's my correct password. No. Let's see. No. Let's see. Let's try to send him something else one more time. Thank you guys for your patience. He says the link wasn't working, which is really odd. So I'm going to email it to myself again and then send it to him via Twitter. How are you guys doing? I'm feeling all right. Today was a doozy. A lot of unexpected twists and turns work-wise. So it was very, very interesting, to say the least, today. But it was a good day. I got a lot done. Let's see. That's the same one. Let me try to get it to him again. Actually, I'm going to post the link in here and see if one of you guys can jump in and validate that this link works, because it should. Let me find this other phone. If you guys click on that link and just see if it goes in, if it kicks you guys in. You don't even have to come online. I just need to see if the link works, because it says it is. I'm feeling a little bit better. There's still a bit of rasp in the voice. My eyes feel dry, and whatever. But I'm not complaining. I'm not even trying to whine. Hold on a second. Let me write Rob again. See if that did it. Hopefully that'll work for him. So crazy. Yeah, I definitely feel a bit better. Hit the comic book store Wednesday, Motu issue 1. That's right, Mr. Milton is telling you about the book that comes out tomorrow at your comic book store. Excuse me. Have a wordplay for you, Frega. Couchdoodles, give 'em ups, crouch poodles, and the kung fu pups. That is some pretty cool stuff, man. Christ energetics, energized with Christ. What's up, Lewis? Let's see if if this is working. Can you guys do me a favor and one of you guys try to click this link and see if it jumps you in to this stream? I didn't put my links in the video description this time, Mr. Rooster Puncher, because this show is about Rob Willis. I might do it after, but I'm not doing it right now. Can one of you guys click that link and see if it kicks you into the stream? Because what Rob is saying is that it connected him to an old broadcast, which is weird because this is the one that StreamYard has generated. This is just bananas. What's up, Rusty? Good day to you there, friend. Let's see. Is this, hey, Mr. Milton? What's up, Atomic Rex? Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you for posting it on the social medias. Can you guys, one of you guys, try to click this link for me and see if it connects you to this stream? Because it's okay. There he is. There he is.
What's
How
up,
are
man?
You?
Good, man.
There
Good.
he is. It works.
Yeah, I'm glad you sent me that link. I got to do it every time. I can't just connect through the Twitter for some reason.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah,
that's bizarre. I like your haircut, man. It's a good
one.
Yeah,
I like yours too.
Thanks, man. Thank you. So let's get this started. I wanted to introduce we've got 20 people in right now, 19, 20 people, and I want them to be introduced to your work. And I wanted to preface it with I'm going to give you a compliment, but I don't want it to go to your head. I want you to keep being you. But there have been a few times in my creative life where I have basically been stopped in my tracks. And the first time I remember it happening was, and I'm talking major impacts, because there's been a bunch of other ones, but I mean ones that like was like a bag of bricks dropped on me. One was the cover of Dark Knight #2 by Frank Miller. When I saw that cover, I was like, yo, the world has changed, you know? Things are completely different. Looks like you're freezing up there, man. Let's see. Your connection. How's your connection? Good man. Michael Green says he backed it. I'm losing. There you are. I can hear you, but I can't see you. There you are. You're back. Okay. Yeah. So then there was another time when I saw Todd McFarlane for the first time. I saw his work for the first time, and I was like, oh my damn. Yeah. And then it happened again when I saw Sam Keith's Wolverine story in Marvel Comics Presents. And then it happened again the first time I saw Moon Knight by Stephen Platt. Those 3 times were like somebody slapped me upside the head and said, pay attention. Me too. It happened again the first time I saw your work. And I'm telling you that straight up. That's why you see me always saying your stuff is fire, because I absolutely believe that if you stay the course, you're going to just smash everybody.
No, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It won't go, like, I wouldn't let it go to my head. I appreciate that. I'm really glad, especially you, enjoy my art, because that says a lot. It means I'm at least on the right path.
Man, I really appreciate that. There are things you do that I'm envious of. Your handle of light is like you get form, and form is a hard one, but light against form is pretty incredible. But let's rewind a little bit. I want to know some of your creative history. What got you to doing what essentially is your first book, right? Like Shinobi Sasquatch is your very first book. So tell me about what got you into drawing.
Like totally, like what? Like just drawing.
Yeah. Like when you were a little kid and you said, you know what, man, I'm going to stay doing this.
Well, I was poor, so I didn't have a lot to do.
I can relate to that. What's up? Ethan Van Skyver's in the house. What up, Comic Artist Pro Secrets?
What's up, Ethan?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what's up.
yeah. So the growing up poor thing, that I understand. I grew up on a chicken farm, so I get that. So go on. You grew up poor.
Yeah, I had a. It started with like a fascination with, I think, monsters. I like
Yeah,
to draw. I like to draw monsters. That's what I started when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Just weird creatures. Um, and then it got uh, to the point where I discovered comic books, and then I started getting into drawing characters, just muscly
yeah.
action figures, and I got stuck doing that for a long
Do
time.
you
And then I,
do you remember which comic it was that did it for you? Oh, we got a little bit of freeze, a little bit of
hear you. Can
technical.
you hear me?
There you are. You're back, and then you froze again. The Iceman.
Okay. Oh
There we
no.
are. It's all
Okay.
good.
Um, I got a bad connection out here.
Do you want
It's
to
not good.
do you want to try your phone?
I think it's worse.
Oh, is it?
Um, I did a stream last week on my phone, and I
Yeah.
couldn't hear anything. When you're saying I'm breaking up, I can still hear you though.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
I could. So this might be as good as it gets, and I apologize.
Ah, dude, it's not on you. It's on whatever system you got going on. You're in Florida?
South South Miami, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
And
know it. I know it.
nothing works right out here.
Yeah.
Um,
So do you remember
but back
which comic like hit you in the head?
the hardest. There's a few that stand out, but this was later on. I discovered comics a little earlier. My uncle used to just give me these boxes of old comics, like things I'd never heard of. Still don't even know what they are really.
Yeah.
Just books upon books that he had collected, and he was older, so these were from his early years. And I just used to like the figures. There was no comic that really stood out to me in that bunch, but
Yeah.
I think when I really started to want to get into comics was Leffold. When Leffold started doing like New Mutants, and then came out with Young Bloods.
Yeah.
Uh, McFarlane when he was doing Spider-Man, and then it really hit me hard when he dropped Spawn. And I was a huge fan of Prophet by Stephen Platt.
Oh yeah.
That book blew me away. When I saw that,
Yeah.
that's when I was like, man, this is what I want to do. This dude is nuts,
Yeah.
and I want to be as good as him one day. But then I actually, that was like 25 years ago,
Yeah.
and I didn't think I didn't see a way um, to get the hell out of Virginia and pursue a career in comic books, and I kind of just went about a regular life, got into doing construction, landscape, and things like that, just to really just things to pay the bills and stuff.
Sure.
And then like a year and a half ago, I was like, man, I'm tired of this. I love it, but I was like, my family and a lot of my friends and things would always tell me, they're like, what are you doing with your art? I'm like, I haven't drawn in years. What are you talking about? I'm not doing anything with my art.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't it. But down the line, I don't know what it was, man. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, I'm gonna draw a comic book,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm gonna do. And what my idea was is I wanted to pitch it to Image.
Yep.
This is before I knew anything about pitching a comic book anywhere. I actually didn't know there was a indie comic market or anything like that. I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't
Sure.
know what any of this stuff was. These things that I'm learning on Twitter and social media now, I had no idea. I set up a Twitter account because I was drawing a comic book and I wanted to put some of my art out there.
Yeah.
And up until then, it was like just a fantasy that was kind of in the back of my mind. And now
Yeah.
I just jumped in like, head first, and I'm trying to see where it goes. Hopefully I can keep it up and this is what I'll be doing for the rest of my life. I hope.
Well, I'm definitely getting you to do a Black Flag piece.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I just can't wait to see what you do because I call
Me too.
artistic style. I call it filters. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, if you go Spider-Man and you go, okay, run it through the J. Scott Campbell filter, you know what it's going to look like. You run it
Yeah.
through a Jim Lee filter, you kind of know what it's going to be like. My favorite thing is surprises. And
Yeah.
the reason I like McFarlane so much is every time he drew somebody, it was always sort of like, I guess the word I want to use is weird, but in the best
Yeah.
way. Like he would do the X-Men on these Spider-Man reprints, you know, and it's the only time you ever got to see him do the X-Men. And they were like a weird looking X-Men, but like I loved the way he did it, you know.
It
It
was
was like,
it's like Wicked,
yeah,
but animated.
yeah. And that's how I feel like about Sam Keith too. It's like, imagine a Sam Keith Captain America. You know, we can see it. I know you can see it, like a
Oh
Sam
yeah.
Keith cap, and hit the all the what is that called? The fish scale stuff. The scales
Yeah.
like peeling back and telephone
Oh
cording
yeah.
out and all that, and the shield being almost dinged up, like it was chewed up
Yeah.
and like twisted. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like that's some of the stuff I dig about your work. So how did you get involved? I mean, I thought for some reason I thought you were a tattoo artist. Is that true or
I
is that...
was. Oh yeah. I got it.
Okay.
Well, I was tattooing for about 10 years. But I would also I went at it full time for about 7 or 8, and
Yeah.
then I opened up a landscaping company, or I started a business of my own, and then I was just tattooing on the weekends, things like that, just for
Yeah.
extra money.
When's the last time you did a tattoo?
Um, jeez, man. Let me. About 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. Do you
I
still
was
have all
just
your
at the
gear?
tattoo shop today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I still got it all. It's in storage, but I got it.
All right. I'm gonna have to get you to give me
Yeah.
a tattoo, bro. I have like I don't know
Yeah. Sure, man.
than 25. I have them all over. So, I
Do
think
you?
yeah, man, they're everywhere. I mean, I'm not as
Yeah.
shredded like you. You're like I said in the tweet, I said you're more shredded than a julienne salad. Like
Yeah, you did.
from,
Yeah.
from Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, it's good and it's bad.
Yeah,
I don't get to eat all the foods that everybody else is eating around me sometimes, and
yeah,
sometimes when you're on such like an extreme diet, your head just gets fuzzy.
yeah.
You're all over the place, and
I know what you mean.
it can affect my work sometimes.
Yeah,
So I got to get a hold of myself. But other than that, I enjoy being able to like spring out of the bed in the morning and feel good, because
yeah.
I was a big you hear me?
Say it again. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh.
You said you were big something.
I was a big guy one time, and I was just always tired. You know, I never had any energy. I'd sleep in. I'd be in the bed all the time, and I was just miserable.
Right.
So I decided to do something about it, and now I feel great, and I got the energy I need to deal with the kids and work and
Yeah.
the wife and everything else.
Yeah.
So,
How many kids you have?
5.
5, man. You got me beat. You got me beat by 1. Man. I have 4, and I'm like, it's madness.
Yeah, you got me beat.
What's the spread on your kids? What's oldest to youngest?
14 to 1.
Okay, that's similar. I've got 15 to 9 months. So
yeah, you told me you just had was a boy or
little girl
Yeah,
back in
me too.
back in February. Yeah,
They're
it's
great. They change your whole outlook. A little baby girl, man, it's like they just make you soft.
They do. You find yourself sounding and saying things. You're like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
I'm a big dope.
Yeah,
they're great.
It's good though.
They're great.
It's good for the soul.
So what you are one of the unique I call it an elite club of guys that pencil and ink their own stuff. What you
The
what
broke.
kind of yeah, right. Yeah, I know. It's true. It's like I call it a gluttony for pain. You
Yeah,
know, it's like it's like a lot of times I get myself painted in the corners. I'm like, oh shit, I drew that really detailed, and now I have to ink it. You
yeah,
know. So,
yeah.
but what kind of materials are you liking? Are you liking markers? Or are you more of a quill and ink kind of guy?
I like the Copic multi-liners. That's what I do most of my inking with. I tried
Crazy.
I tried the nib and ink for a few pieces, and
Yeah,
it didn't turn out bad, but I just wasn't familiar with it, so it didn't turn out as good as I wanted it to.
yeah,
And that's pretty much it. I don't even use a brush that much. I'll use a brush pen.
yeah.
Uh, the only time I
It's
use a nib is when I go back in with whiteout to do highlights and like negative hatching and things like that.
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. You know the Platt stuff that you were mentioning. I first met Steve when he was on Moon Knight, and I went up to
The
Toronto and
beginning.
watched him working on that stuff. And I remember when his variant to Prophet 4 came in, and then seeing those pages come in, and he's almost exclusively a Pigma Micron guy back then. Now,
Yeah.
later on, you know, he went to strictly pencils and had other guys like Joe Weems and Bat ink him. But yeah, it's interesting. It's
What did you
interesting to see.
What did you think about when other people would ink his work though? Like I didn't. As good as
Uh,
those guys were, I never liked it as much as when he was inking
yeah,
his own stuff.
well, he ended up changing up his style, like for better for worse. Like sometimes I feel like certain artists, I call it a sweet spot. Like
Yeah,
for example, I'm a huge Art Adams fan. I like
yeah,
all of Art Adams' work for the
yeah. He's
most
great.
part. I would say 95% of his work I adore. But
Yeah,
the sweet spot for me is 85 to 89. There's like a vibe to it. People are a little too long. You know, there's hyper detailed stuff is kind of weird and crunchy, and
hmm,
then you know, but for Platt roughly around Prophet 6 or 7 up until like 10, his stuff started to take a turn, and not for the worse, just in a different way. Like his influences were Liberatory, Sam Keith, Todd
hmm.
McFarlane, but a lot of Liberatory, a lot of, and he was trying to imitate Liberatory's values, but with a pen instead of paint.
Yeah,
So that's how he got that sort of hatching thing. But then he
yeah.
saw guys like Will Spertasio on X-Men, and like he ended up changing his proportions a little bit. But anyway, uh, I think what you're talking about as far as other people inking him, um, I think he also changed his penciling. So it was kind of a little bit of both. You
Yeah,
know,
he changed his rendering up a little bit.
right?
He went
Exactly.
from so much of the because he used to come from the outside in and
Right.
cross, and then he started doing the more of the upward rendering,
Right.
like Finch, maybe like Finch, how
And
he
then
does his rendering.
it predates Finch though. But yes, I
Yeah,
know exactly
predates
what you're
it,
saying.
yeah,
Yeah. And
but
that's a
he,
Wills thing. That's a Wills
yeah,
Pertasio thing. If you look at Wills's X Factor and X Men work, that's what he and Art Taber were doing that. Um, excuse me. Yeah, we're getting all into the nitty gritty of things.
yeah.
Now, who when you study like I said, one of the things I like about your work, outside of the fact that you know where to put your camera and your proportions, is you have such a strong sense of lighting. Who did you get that from, or is that just something you feel like you naturally do?
I, um, I started I started adding more and more shade as I went along because I liked the contrast. So I had to figure out where to put all the shade values. I realized if you can find a light source, it'll add a lot to the actual piece. Like whether it be
Sure.
primary and secondary light sources are great. That way you can add like the back reflections and things like that. And I think these are just things I picked up on as I went along that I realized added a lot to the piece of art. Um,
Right.
and rather than just doing the like old school I don't know how, just line work, and
Yeah.
the crisscross hatching and things. Instead, adding deep shades and then rendering off of the shades.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, if you need to throw in a secondary light source behind it to add a little more something to make it pop, I think all that really adds a lot of values to your artwork, which is what people, when people see it, that's what makes it a little different. It's not just, like I said, just basic line work where
Sure.
it's really easy to understand. You know what I mean? I think the
I
more
do.
complicated a piece of art looks, the better, because you leave the
Yeah.
viewer guessing, like, how did they go about doing that? And that's
Yeah.
what I always admired about my favorite artists. I'd look at it and I'd just be baffled by
Yeah.
wondering how they did that.
You had done something on a recent piece, it's a double pager that you just posted, and
Yeah.
excuse me, Cal was talking about how it's something that uh, your your campaign supporters, that the ones that are in the art tier, they could potentially get it.
They got it. Yep.
You had done something with the lighting that was coming. I'm seeing in my mind's eye. You got that creature on the right, and all the glow and stuff that's happening to him. So I'm assuming that's your light source.
Yeah.
But you had his leg cast its shadow upon itself, but you did it in such a way that it wasn't. It was simplified, but it wasn't super simple. Like Mignola would have just done like a hard cut
Right.
and left the rest black, but you did like a hard cut, let a little bit of light in, another one, and then that secondary rim light on the back. And I was like, man, this guy's on fire. Like, this is stuff that a lot of people don't even start thinking about until like their 10th book. And that's, oh, that was the other guy I forgot to say was a showstopper, was Travis Charest. When Travis, it looks like Travis Charest. Some people say
Oh,
Charest,
okay.
but
Yeah.
he done Flash Annual #5, and I remember grabbing that and bringing it to the studio, and we were like, "Nah, man, this is somebody else posing as somebody else. They're too good." We thought
Yeah.
it was like Jim Lee pretending to be Art Adams or something. Like it was just so good. So what I usually do with my guests, and it's going to be fun for you, is I have a series of questions that I ask them, and
Yeah.
it's to get inside your mind. I'm going to pull them up here on the mighty iPad.
What kind of
And I'm going
questions?
oh, they're good questions. In fact, you'll be happy to know that you're in good company. So the same guys I asked these questions to are I asked Kim Jong-gi, I asked Mike Mignola, I asked Rob Liefeld, Neil Adams, Larry Hama, Mark Bagley, Dave Johnson, Coley Hamner. So I've asked some pretty great people. We got some other ones on the list too: Simon Beasley, Frank Quietly. They're future interviewees. So you're going to be answering the same questions because people need to know, and they're not crazy. They're not too crazy. We're going to start off with the first one right now. Do you have a routine to get, like, every day you wake up and you do your thing and get a page done? Do you have a routine, and what is it?
Uh, it very routine. I do have a routine though. Basically, I will get up, get my kids fed, get them occupied. Then I come in and I scribble down some basic rough stuff with the pencils. The layout.
Yeah.
Then by that time, the kids need to eat again, so I feed them.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
I lay my daughter down for a nap, and then I
Your
go
kid
back.
naps? Your kid naps?
Thank God. Yeah.
Holy shit, man. My kids don't nap. Not one of them has napped.
Yeah.
Go
She
on.
naps.
Sorry.
So
Sorry, that's great.
around 1 or 2, she lays down for about an hour and a half. So I can go back in and do more detailed penciling of what I've already laid down. And then she'll wake up. And then really it's just bouncing back and forth between my responsibilities as a father and a husband to my responsibilities to creating this project. So basically, yeah, I'll do the layout real, I'll scribble that down. Then I go back in and I start detailing things. And by the end of the night, if I'm lucky, I have close to a page, if not a page, of detailed pencils that I can go off of. And then inking is a little different. I just I got to get warmed up. I warm up a little bit before I ink because I want my lines to be straight. I'll sit there and just hatch out lines.
Drills.
Yeah, just doing drills, making sure my hand's steady.
Yeah.
And then I sit down and I start at the bottom and work my way up. And then once all my outlining and my blacking in and everything is done, my hatching, I go back in and try and add some extra effects with different utensils, whether it be splattering or just dry brushing or something like that.
That's great, man. What do you do when you don't know what to do?
Jeez. I try things until I give up and walk away. And then usually after I walk away and I go do something else for about an hour, it just hits me. And then I come back and I do it.
That's great. That's great. Now, if you could trade lives with any person, living or dead, for one day, who would it be and why?
Anybody. Dang, that's a good question. That is a really good question. If I could trade lives with somebody. You know what? I've never thought about that. But it'd probably be my wife.
Yeah.
So I could see what the hell she's going through and what I
put
her through, and then have a better understanding for it afterwards. Because
you're a good man.
Yeah.
You're a good man. Look, Artabear's in the house. Artabear's in the house.
Whoa. Dang, man, you got some good guests here today.
Yeah, well, you're the guest, man. Artabear's an old school homie, man. Old school.
He's amazing. I've seen some of his work. That he's another one with his inks. Some of his techniques that I've looked at and been like, how the fuck does he do that? Like, how did he get that effect? And I think I saw something when we were on. I was on a stream with him. I don't know if it was an auction or something. And I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to sound like a fanboy, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. I didn't want to interrupt what was going on. But there was something he had on a piece of art he was auctioning, I think, where I wanted to ask him how he did it, but I didn't. I didn't.
You have to. Here's the thing, man. This is how I've lived my life. When I was a kid, I walked up to Jack Kirby and asked him for his phone number. Okay, he gave it. He gave it to me. Okay, so the worst thing that could happen is that you're in the same spot you were before you asked, and it's just is. And the best thing that could happen is you get what you're looking for. So I say go for it. Okay, so let's jump into the next question. Now, if you could give your younger self a piece of advice, one piece of advice, what would you say to your younger self?
I was thinking about this last night.
Yeah.
This was on my mind yesterday. I was like, man, I wish I could go back. And it's probably a pretty understandable answer. And tell myself, don't worry about running around with all your friends, trying to be cool, trying to fit in, and, having all this, crazy time, and just stick to your artwork. That's what I would tell myself, for sure. Without a doubt, that would be it. Just stay at home.
Artabear says he owns an original of yours, and it's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one? Wonder what it is.
I think the advice you gave to your younger self is very sound. I think it's very sound. Now, we get into some crazy questions. You don't even have to answer any of them if you don't want to, but here's one. What are you most self-conscious about?
My what am I most self-conscious about? There's a lot of things, man. I'm a very self-conscious person. I'm a very insecure person. Pretty much everything I do, I'm self-conscious about.
Yeah.
Anything I got to make a decision on, whether it be how to raise my kids, how to be a good husband, well, what to buy at the grocery store. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
everything, I'm
I think
very
that might be.
self-conscious.
I think that might be symptomatic of artists.
Yeah,
You know, because at least for myself, I find that I'm in my head a lot, and I'm trying to be in other people's heads. And when I'm writing or drawing situations, I try to think about the point of view of that character, and
yeah,
your head gets filled up with a lot of options, you know.
yeah. Well,
And
you're forced to look at things from like a million different perspectives. I'm
yeah,
totally with you on that. Yeah, all the way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Now, what is the most childish or childlike thing that you still do?
When I'm in a bad mood, I'll just pick a fight with my wife for no reason. Nothing like I gotta bring her into my bad mood. So like I'll go out
Yeah,
there and find something stupid, like just something dumb, and it won't be a real fight. It'll just be
yeah,
something me nitpicking about something, just to like kind of push her buttons a little, and then I
yeah,
kind of and then it usually escalates, and then I feel bad afterwards. Like 10 minutes later, I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm in a bad mood. I came out here and did that just because I'm in a bad mood. So sorry, I'm gonna go in the room and leave you alone now.
it's like a dog with a chew toy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's crazy. Now, would you rather live in the country, the suburbs, or the city, and why?
Mm, probably the city because even though I'd never really go out and enjoy it, it's there if I want to. Um, Not, I definitely wouldn't want to live in the country, even though I'm a homebody.
Yeah,
I don't like being that far away from from society.
yeah,
Even maybe like a week out of a year, that would be fine. But to live out there, I'd go crazy. There's no, and it doesn't inspire me. Being out there,
right.
I don't get inspired off of that. I think my work would probably suffer. The
Mm,
suburbs is okay. You're kind of like right in the
yeah,
middle. I could deal with that. But I think I like the city. I lived in it. You live in Atlanta?
I live near Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay, I lived in Atlanta, and that was absolutely my favorite place to be.
What
Uh,
part did you live in? I used to live downtown for a little while.
Man, I only lived there for like 5 months before I moved down here to Miami, and I
Yeah.
don't remember exactly
Do you
what
remember
part.
the Fox Theater?
The Fox Theater.
Yeah, it's like a. I mean, Atlanta's big. Matt Yackey's in the house. Matt Yackey, colorist extraordinaire.
Matt Yackey.
Yeah, Matt Yackey's an amazing colorist.
I have to check
Says,
him out.
Rob, next time just say I'm in a bad mood, so don't pay any attention to me for the next 10 minutes, and then you don't have to apologize. Clever man.
That's
Reed
true.
Troutman is a clever, clever man.
That is true.
Let's see. Okay. If you could learn a new skill instantly, like magic, what would you want that skill to be?
Kung Fu.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, why?
I just I I just want to be able to do it. I don't know. I want to be able
Yeah.
to do shit like that.
Yeah. I'm a
Yeah.
big Bruce Lee fan.
Oh yeah.
So I would, man, like mine would still end up being time travel if it's ever possible, if that's a skill. Look at Scotsman says, what style of kung fu though?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Any style of kung fu.
Jeet
Any
Kune Do, baby.
anything
Even
where
though
I can
Jeet
like
Kune Do.
jump in the air and do the splits and like kick two people on either side of me in the face and then
That's
bring
like
it around. and then
That's
bring it
ballet.
around and hit the dude in front of me. I don't
That's
know.
so like ballet with capoeira.
Is ninjutsu a thing? Can I say
I
ninjutsu?
Ninjutsu would be awesome.
That would be the
Fra-
one. Ninjutsu.
Fra- hey, check this out. Frankenstein's hermit says, "I just backed Shinobi Sasquatch. Art
Thank
looks
you.
amazing.
Thank
Hail,
thank you. Thank
hail,
you.
yes, Wu Tang style."
I really
Duma
appreciate
drop in the Wu Tang. All right, now out of earth, wind, fire, and water, or a combination of them, what element best represents you?
that. It's a combo. I'd say boiling water.
Boiling water.
Boiling water. Yeah. I'm pretty much,
Interesting.
I'm pretty go with the flow. I've realized I do better that way. Going with
Yeah,
the flow of things, staying pretty fluid, pretty liquid
yeah,
about everything. And but I like a lot of excitement.
yeah.
I don't, not so much anymore, but it's still there's a part of me that just always has a desire to go do something. I just never act on it anymore because I just don't have time. But and I got
You're talking. You're
I'm
talking
a
about
little,
like jumping out of a plane.
I'm scared of heights though. That's the only
Hey,
I do
listen,
something
man. Check this out. I used to be deathly afraid of heights. I have a younger brother who's 6 years younger than me, and on his 18th birthday, he said to me, "The only thing I want is for you to go skydiving with me." And I said to him, "Bro, you know I'm afraid of heights." He says, "It's all I'm wanting. That's all I'm asking." And I looked at him, and I could see he was serious, and I decided I'm gonna do it, and I did it, and I stopped being afraid of heights after that.
my hands are sweating already just talking about it. Oh
It's a
my god.
conversion. It's a conversion. It happens, man. It happens.
Um, I've heard it's a blast.
It hurts your
But
nuts. It hurts your nuts
that's what I
when
that's
you
what I would think. Like
yeah,
jumping that
yeah.
first initial leap up.
Nah, the jump doesn't hurt. It's when you pop the chute. The harness
Oh,
is like two kung fu masters
oh
going
man.
baya right there.
I'd be cool if
It's
as long as the parachute opens.
that's right.
It's the worry of the parachute not opening that would stop me from wanting to go skydiving.
That's right. That's right. Now this is my favorite question I ask uh, of everyone. Like especially like when I've had students and they ask me, "How do you figure out what you want to do in life?" This is the question I ask. If money wasn't a factor, if all of your bills were paid, and you could wake up every day the rest of your life knowing you don't have to pay for anything, not live in the lap of luxury, but you wake up and you don't have to worry about rent, you don't have to worry about bills or insurance or whatever. You could just wake up and do whatever you want. How would you live your life?
I would I would draw books at my own pace, and
Yeah,
I would just spend time with my family, man. I would live these moments to the fullest, and when I'd get my free time, I'd sit down and I'd dump all this stuff that's in my brain out on paper, kind of like I do now. Only I wouldn't really have a schedule.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
That's very much the same answer I have. I'd
yeah,
want to do one project a year because
yeah. That would be great.
That's a schedule I could keep and I could pour my heart into.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this! Somebody's asking me about my balls. Speaking of nuts, how are yours,
Uh,
Dan? Got 3 kids and been thinking of taking that leap. The reason he's asking is not this past Saturday, but the week before I got my nuts cut because I had to put an end to it, and I was ultimatumed by my beautiful lady that it must be done. So it's been done. The nuts are cool. They're still a little sore, but I'm good. That was a little program interruption for Dr. Perot.
I remember that post, and I knew
Yeah,
you didn't even say it, but I knew what you were talking about. It was something
where I
about.
said you could call me numbnuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
I've
just
never had I've never sat on my bag like that before. I'm like, yeah, I can't feel my nuts. Oh shit. Okay. Now, describe yourself with one word.
Weird,
That works.
oddball.
Now,
I don't know. Yeah.
now, what initially sparked your interest in drawing? I know we touched upon that early on, but the question still remains. You know, some kids they go, "Hey, I like sports. Hey, I like bicycles. Hey, I like action figures." Uh, you chose I want to draw. What was that spark?
Mm, I don't know. It's undescribable. I just had to do it. Like that was there was a lot of things I like to do, but it was just one of my just something I love to do, and I don't know
Yeah,
why. Now that was when I was younger. Now I have see nobody really knows this. I'm drawing a book now with Cal. Cal shot me the pitch for Shinobi Sasquatch, and then we kind of bounced back and forth on some ideas and things, and so I got into that. But I have like a overflowing amount of things in my head uh, that I have to like figure out how to get out, and
yeah.
a bunch of creations, a bunch of things. Some are a little simpler than others. Some are just off the wall bizarre. Um,
Do you keep a notebook? Because that's what I do. Is I have probably like 50 of those things you're talking about where I just write it down because I'll get to it if I
I
can live long enough.
I do have a notebook. I don't write in it as much as I should, but
You need to.
it does have
You
notes
need
in
to.
it. Yeah.
We have a question from the boombox. That's what I call the folks in the chat. Eddie Winkler asks, "What mainstream character do you like to draw the most?"
Um, if I had to pick a character, that's a good question. There's a few. There's a few I like. Um, Depends on what mood I'm in. I don't get a chance to draw mainstream characters that often. I'm usually drawing like things that I like trying to create things, but I like for some reason I like the Juggernaut. I like to draw the
Oh
Juggernaut.
yeah,
Yeah, as far as the big brolic characters go,
yeah.
one character that I haven't ever drawn that I have no idea why I haven't drawn this character, but I never have that I want to sit down and do is Spawn because he's
Yeah.
got so much going on. I've never tried to draw him, but I think as far as like I think Deadpool might be one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
He's fun.
yeah.
He's fun. All right. Uh, have you heard any bad recommendations uh, in your career, your brand new career? Have you heard any bad advice where you're like, "Yo, that's just some shit advice"?
Man, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We have another question from the Fragaboom box. What outside of comics inspires you, Rob? Also, your art would be a sick on a giant robot book.
Um, a giant robot book. Yeah. Uh, I might be doing something like that eventually. But what inspires me, people, um, the situations, um, everything, man. Politics play into it, but I keep them out of my artwork. But I'm I have my mind wanders. So like conspiracy theories and things like that are I'm really big on those, but I'm not big on like other people's conspiracy theories. I always seem to come up with my own. You know, like
Yeah,
I don't believe anything I see on TV, and it fascinates me. The world we live in now is so confusing and untrustworthy, but magical at the same time.
yes,
And I try and figure it out, but there's
Yeah.
no way to do it. So that's inspirational to me. It's like
I think there's ways. I think there's ways, man. We could do a full episode on that. I've been doing a lot of studying on social social understandings and how uh, we as a society emulate a school of fish sometimes
yeah,
without knowing it. You know, it's like there's these little things that are directing us, and some of us are off on the side, but ultimately, you know, we're a big giant school of fish.
yeah. That's
But I've been studying some of that stuff.
a good way to look at it. I think with
Yeah.
media and everything, I don't think we really. I don't know. In my mind, I don't think we really know anything. Like we have ideas, but I feel like we have no idea what's really going on.
It's
And
the
that,
Russian doll thing, man. Every time you open one up, there's another one inside it. You
yeah,
open that up, and you keep thinking you're gonna get to that place. And the universe is that way.
yeah,
When you take a electronic microscope and you look at things small, and then you take a telescope and you look at things cosmic,
yeah,
they look a lot alike on both sides of the extremes. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like this weird sort of Mandelbrot repeating thing, but you know, we live our whole life in the fog of war, says Reed Troutman. That needs to be like on a tombstone. I
Yeah,
lived my life in the fog of war. You know, this is a good one. Akuma says, just give everyone weed and shrooms. Problem solved.
yeah.
Well,
I I would have agreed with that at one time. I
yeah.
probably I probably can give weed and shrooms credit for some of my creative uh, the way
Here,
my
here,
gears turn. Yeah,
here.
that was a
Yep,
long
I
time
think.
ago though.
Yeah, yep. Time is nothing. Time
Yeah,
is nothing.
yeah, that's
Time
true.
is nothing. That's the weird thing. I was saying today before you came on, I said today is the day of Rob, and the reason I say that is I have you on as my guest, and today is also the 30th anniversary of the day I met Rob Liefeld, and he's the guy who gave me my break back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
But it was kind of crazy thinking about that, and you know, I sent him a text and told him how much I appreciated the ups and downs, because you know, 30 years, a lot of things can happen, but
mhm.
it's kind of a trip the way things can go by. Like you were talking earlier about Stephen Platt and how you saw his book and you said, yeah, man, that was 25 years ago. And I'm like, holy crap, it is. You know, like when I think about Black Flag is older now than I was when I created it.
That's crazy.
You know, I
Yeah,
was 21 years old when I created that book, and that book is 25 years old. So
Jesus.
you know, that's what I'm saying. Time goes time goes by in a crazy way. So once you finish up with Shinobi Sasquatch, are you planning on doing a follow up, or do you have some things in mind you want to do?
I've got one project that's it's tearing me up to do, and I know I got I've talked with I've had a few people ask me to draw their books, and I tell them, I don't know what my availability is because
No.
I got so much stuff that I just have to get out. Shinobi Sasquatch is going to get two more follow up books. I don't know what the scheduling on them is going to be
Yeah.
exactly, but we're going to try and get it out pretty quick to all the people who are interested in seeing what book two holds. But I have um, four solid projects that I want to get done within the next 2 or 3 years. The next one, I don't want to say what it's called or anything yet.
All good.
I'm going to start putting teasers out there in the beginning of next year, though.
Yeah.
And by the time fulfillment for Shinobi Sasquatch has met, you guys will have gotten an eyeful of what the next project is going to be, and enough to where there might be some hype around it, and I can get rolling on that.
Fantastic. Count me in on that.
Good, awesome. You're gonna love it.
I'll end
You're
up
gonna.
begging you for. I'm gonna beg you for a short story of some sort, even if it's only 8 pages.
That's fine.
And the other thing I want to try out, because I'm a big fan of this thing that I call the harmonic artist. When you take someone like Rob Liefeld and you take someone like McFarlane, and you have Rob Liefeld inked by McFarlane, you create this third harmonic artist that looks like nothing you've ever seen before. I would like to ink you, and I would like to see what it looks like. I would like to see what it looks like when you ink me.
I will do that. But it's funny that you bring that up, because this same topic right here got me blocked by Rob Leffel. He blocked me because I commented on the new
He's got an itchy blocking finger, man. I'm just saying.
I didn't even know he was in the chat or anything, but I was talking to, I think, James Dean Anderson about the New Mutants cover with Cable on it.
Yeah.
And how looking at it, knowing Leffeld's style, knowing McFarlane's style, I was like, the faces in the bubbles down there are all Rob Leffel. I see that. I said, but Cable, the face at least, that looks like McFarlane all day. If you look at the nose, the mouth, the eyes, everything, the thick eyebrows.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I think that might have been McFarlane. 2 seconds later, Rob chimes in, says something smart-assed, and then I went to respond to what he said. Nothing smart-assed or anything.
Hey, karate chopped you.
And that was it. It was done.
Yeah, you know what? He get the backstory on that particular piece, and this is what's crazy. Knowing some of these stories is that when Todd initially turned in his inks on the cover, Rob was mortified by the way Cable's face looked.
Yeah.
So Rob went in and actually he didn't like white it all out. He went in and punched it up himself to make it feel the way he wanted it to. Yeah. So when your comment probably just hit him in that like soft spot, because it was
even worse was that McFarlane was getting full credit for that cover in the post.
Right.
And I think he was getting full credit for Leffeld's pencils and everything like this. So that was probably even worse, because I think he was probably seeing that, and then my comment probably just sent him over the edge.
That's okay. I mean, I lived with him for 1.5 years. I worked for him for 10 years.
Damn.
It's he's a cool dude. He's certainly mellowed out over the years, but like, I don't know, man. So I think somebody of his caliber could probably get rubbed raw. I mean, how many times has he heard the "I can't draw feet" joke? How many times has he heard the big titty cap joke?
Yeah,
all those things. So, I would think that
he gets a lot of criticism, and he was one of my favorites. For that 90s art, you didn't have to be able to draw feet. It didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how they were. It had a lot of action, had a lot of punch. It drew you into the pages, whether proportions were, perfect, or the feet were right, or any of that stuff. It didn't matter. What he did drew people into it. And he was my favorite as maybe 12, 13, 14 years old. He was my absolute favorite artist. I was looking for young bloods to hit the shelves. Anything he did, I was looking for it.
For sure.
But sure. He gets a lot of bad shit from people. Yeah, it's true.
He does. So that for me gives him like a hall pass on certain elements.
Yeah.
What's crazy about the thing I like about 90s comics so much, and it's something that our work embraces, is the fact that I, and I've talked a lot about this on the stream, that comic books has a very unique toolbox of things that we can employ to elicit responses,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of that has to do with playing with proportion,
Yeah.
and exaggeration,
Mm-hmm.
uh, things being over the top, because we don't have the advent of sound effects. We don't have music. We don't have motion. So we have to create that feeling by, like I said, employing these other things. So when somebody goes and step by step goes, this bolt wasn't on this person's armor in this panel, and here it's not, and they moved it 3 inches up. This person sucks. You go, really? Like, maybe you need to chill out and go get a job. Go get a job like doing QC on video.
Yeah.
You know.
There, I think some people enjoy the differences, like you said, like the '90s art style, that it didn't have to be everything didn't have to be the same every panel. You know what I mean? It was just, as long as it was explosive and energetic, or emotion, had some kind of emotion to it. That's what I like. There was a lot of emotion, uh,
That's right.
mainly anger and rage and violence, but there was also some sad moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
funny moments. Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of guilty of that. I don't go back sometimes and look at the previous page work to make sure that I'm doing this exactly the same as it was. As long as it looks good
You
enough,
just move forward. Just move forward.
yeah. If I miss a detail here and there, I I don't even I don't even think nothing of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What what's your favorite thing to draw?
My favorite thing. Well, characters. I mean, characters uh, are my favorite. Like
You
I
mean
know,
things that make them broadly different from one another, that sort of thing?
yeah, like different proportions, like you were saying, blowing things out of proportion, or minimizing or whatever, making them look different. But I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan of really detailed backgrounds, though. I want to get into it. I want to make sure, and I'm gonna have to really get into getting like a cityscape down for the next project. I want to make sure my buildings and everything is looking, beautiful and captivating.
Uh, just
Uh,
take a look at Akira. Akira is like the handbook of good buildings.
yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But that's not my favorite thing to draw. Definitely not backgrounds. Um,
You are a true 90s artist.
a lot of a lot of my perspectives are kind of I make sure they look good, but they may not be 100% accurate. If you really were to break out the
That's
ruler and
okay
things.
though. That's okay though, because there's a certain thing, and I have a this inker that I'm working with on He-Man, and we were talking about the pluses and minuses of working digitally. So, like, the way I work digitally in pencils, and then the inks are done analog. But you have really cool perspective tools in the digital format.
Yeah,
But I also found that, like, when we are in action, for example, and we already have a distorted field of vision anyway. We have like this sort of cone that subscribes to proper perspective, and then it starts to fisheye out and turns sort of into a curvature the wider it goes out.
yeah,
But when we're under action oriented situations, for example, you could see in Saving Private Ryan, one of the ways that they created that sense of urgency and anxiety is that everything was shot through mirrors. And what they did is they had the soldiers wear everything backwards, and they shot it through the mirror. But they took the mirrors and they kind of shook them
what?
instead of shaking the camera, because it's hard to shake a 50-pound camera.
Yeah,
They would angle it off of the mirror and shake the camera. And the reason for that is when you're under intense situations, you're like moving and you're filled with adrenaline. And that's why I feel like 90s comics kind of gets that forgiveness and not having perfect perspective, because there is that sort of movement that's happening that's going to distort. So as long as it feels right, at the end of the day, you're aiming for a feeling, right? And
Yeah.
that's what I really enjoy about your stuff is there's a lot of soulful feeling to it, where it's not so what's that word, the sterile, like in a hospital, like
Yeah.
everything is sterilized and clean and perfect. There's a lot of guys out there, and I'm not going to name names because I'm not going to name names, but there's a lot of guys out there that I feel are technically excellent, but their stuff has a sterility to it because it's trying to adhere to what they think is perfect,
Yeah.
and nothing's like that. It's almost like you could have a display in a Macy's window,
Hmm.
where every item is placed and shined and like multi-directional lights. But when you look at it, or Old Navy, it looks like some shitty Old Navy ad where everything is too pristine.
Hmm.
Like, that doesn't evoke any emotion. What evokes emotion is like the grime and the dirt and the imperfections.
That's something I have trouble with sometimes, allowing the imperfections, but I force myself because the imperfections, like you were saying, is what really adds life and character to it.
That's right.
So I'm like, this is really good, but I gotta do something else, uh, like I'm working on a piece right now. It's a character design that I'm doing in between something, and it's really proportioned well. And now I'm gonna
Yeah.
go back in and fuck it all up on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drawn Sword Graphics says it well right here. He says organic feel wins every time.
Yep. I
Yeah,
agree.
organic. I call it the crunch.
Yeah.
Something that's like, you look at McFarlane's inks on, especially on himself, or when he inks other people, it's crunchy. That's one of the things. Like, I feel like, what's your colorist's name on Shinobi?
Paul Billick or 2D Spaceman, if you want to look him up on
2D
Twitter.
Spaceman. I like what he does because like I was talking to Ryan Stegman. He was on the show the other day, and I
Yeah.
was telling him how much I appreciate his artwork in black and white. And I wasn't slighting his colorist because his colorist is fantastic, but I feel like there's a certain point where uh, they're two people could sing and create beautiful music, but then there could be one person who's singing over a person, and they kind of
Mhm.
drown that other person's skill out.
Yep.
And I feel like your colorist is right there with you. Like, you could still see your work. You could still see your work in there, which is what I really appreciate.
Yeah, we got lucky with him. We definitely got lucky. He reached out, or I believe he reached out to Cal with with some with some of his portfolio.
Yeah.
Cal reached out to me. He was like, "What do you think about?" We had like three guys that were kind of poking at the opportunity to do the coloring,
Yeah.
and we went with Paul. There was some other really good colors, but like you're saying, I didn't think it was going to match up right. As good as they were, I didn't think they were the two styles were going to complement each other very well. And
Yeah.
Paul went in and just started doing his thing, and he's really good to work with, man. He's great to work with because he's he'll do something and it'll look amazing, but I might be like, and I know he's worked his ass off on it, you know what I mean? But I'll be like, what do you
Yeah.
think about this? Maybe switching this up a little. He's like, yeah, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? It's never like, yeah, he's never like, no, I don't, that's fucking stupid. Like,
Right.
we're gonna keep it how it is. But
That's great.
and then sometimes he surprises me because I might have wanted to see it done a certain way, and he comes
Yeah.
about it with a different technique, and I'll be like, man, that's way better than what I was thinking. So yeah,
Yeah.
we got lucky. He's a good dude, and when the book's over, I imagine he's gonna get a ton of other work. I believe he's doing some other projects right now too, if I'm not mistaken. but he's going to be busy too. He's an amazingly talented person.
What are your 3 all-time favorite comic books?
Damn, man. I don't know if I have 3 all-time favorite. I have a bunch. Every time somebody asks me a question like this, later on, I hit myself in the head, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what about so-and-so? What about this? What about
Yeah.
that?
Well, can you think of one, or do you need more or less? Because if I could go on, I could say, Avengers Annual 10, Doctor Strange 55, Amazing Spider-Man 319. You know what I mean?
I can't do it like that. I don't know that. I don't know the numbers, man. My brain doesn't register all that stuff. I can't remember all that data. I don't store all that data. I can't remember the numbers like that.
Do you have certain images in your mind that rock your world? Like I could say I love Dark Knight, but that cover of Dark Knight 2, like that thing, literally, like that was the biggest earthquake in my creative life.
I think when Capullo started doing Spawn, that blew me away. Just blew me out of the water. McFarlane was great. I was totally enthralled by his work, but then when he switched over to Capullo, then it was like Jesus. You know what I mean? This guy was doing it perfect. Now this guy just, I feel like, took it to another level, and with McFarlane's inks and things like that. So it was still a little bit of both of them. His pencils and McFarlane's inks blew me away. I like. Big fan of Joe Mad's. Was it Inhumans?
Yeah.
Huge fan of that. The imagery.
Marte Gracia colored that stuff.
Yeah, and I feel, didn't they color, like, pretty much it was his pencils, right? It wasn't really solid.
It was his pencils drawn at actual size, like the same size as a comic book page, not the 10 by 15, but like the 6 by 8 or whatever. Yeah.
No way.
Hey, you know what? I'll show you something that'll blow your mind right now. That shit's real. And I'm not telling you to do this because you keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But you see this right here in my little hands?
Yeah.
Right here? These are my originals to He-Man. Right? And I drew this on copy paper.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I did the all of my stuff on 8.5 by 11 copy paper. I mean, it's cardstock copy paper, but I thought I was trying to save time, but it's like, it's tiny like that.
Does it save time? Is it a little less time consuming? No.
No, it isn't, and it ended up making the ends of my fingers go numb for 3 weeks because I was drawing so tiny. Reed Troutman, he says, Sam Keith did a Wolverine book I can't get out of my head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, Blood Hungry for life. Look at Luke. He says, got home and checked my mailbox. I got my Black Flag pin. That's right. He got a Black Flag pin. Rob, I got to get you a Black Flag pin.
Yeah.
I got to get it out to you. I'm super stoked.
A button pin or a writing pin? Is it
a button? It's a good question, man. It's a PIN, not a PEN.
Okay.
I got them right here in this box. It's one of these dudes right here.
Yeah, let me get one. I know.
Yeah, I'll get you a couple.
I'll put them on my jeans, man.
Oh yeah. Rock them on the jean jacket.
Yeah, man.
That's how I roll.
I'll put them on my pants. I'll wear them on my pants, man.
You're going way back.
I don't get to wear jackets in Florida. It's never cold.
That's right. That's right. With my family and I, we just moved here to Georgia about a year ago from California, and that's one of the things we were surprised about is the fact that there are actually seasons here.
Yeah.
which is kind of a trip. So you grew up. Did I catch that right? You grew up in Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you came down to Georgia. You were here for 5 months, and then you went to South Miami. When did you move from Virginia to Georgia and Georgia to Miami?
Was it's actually weird. I went from Virginia to Georgia, then back to Virginia briefly,
Yeah,
then down to I was in Port St. Lucie um, before I came to Miami. My wife's family lives in Miami, and when we had the baby, to get some extra help with the kids, and my wife started nursing school. She's been working in the hospital for years, but she started school.
yeah,
Uh, she brought up the bright idea that I did not agree with at first, but it's been somewhat helpful, but also somewhat a pain. But moving in with the in-laws to save a little bit of money
yeah.
to and it's pretty cramped up. But there's a lot of love in this house. It's she has a very good family, and
Okay, so wait, let's get the count
okay,
because I
back.
feel I feel like my house is crazy and there are 7 people in my house, but I'm counting 7 with you, your wife, your 5 kids, and then are
Okay,
there 9?
one of my kids lives in Virginia still.
Okay,
Um, okay, but yeah, with I don't know. I don't know if I should say this. I don't know. I don't know if I
oh
should
then
put
don't,
this kind of
then don't,
information out.
then don't. If you don't,
There's
if your
so many.
spider sense tingles, man, go with your spider sense.
No, it's not a big deal. But I
No, but
also
the thing that's interesting and the reason I ask is because there are multiple factors. You don't have to get into specifics, but one of the things that I try to let people know about the Couch Doodle show and what I try to show people is that creativity is a powerful thing, and creativity happens under different circumstances. So if someone could see that there's somebody out there like you're like a beacon of hope to somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? Hi, baby.
she just woke up. I'm about to take her out to her
Hi.
mom.
Hi,
Say
baby girl. Hi, baby.
yeah.
She got
It's
that I just woke up face too in the hair. I know
yeah,
that look. I know
yeah.
that look.
She's just crawling out of the bed. I'm gonna take her out to her mom real quick. I'm gonna answer your question first though.
Yeah.
It's you were saying something about where you. Could you repeat it? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's all right, man. I know what it's like. I'm just saying, like, I feel like uh, I feel like you that to a lot of people they feel like there needs to be an ideal circumstance in order for them to succeed in doing what they want, and
Nah. Oh
what
yeah.
you've shown, what you're showing, and you're really a true inspiration is that you are there being a father, you're being a husband, you're getting the work done, and not only are you getting the work done, you're doing like out of this world work. It shows people out there that their creativity and whatever sort of things they're going through, they can make it through. So I wasn't even a question; it was more of an
Oh,
observation of the fact that you are a champion.
you just got to make it happen. You just
That's
got to
right.
do it. You got to get to
That's
know
right.
what you want and make it happen. That's it. Uh,
That's what's up.
it's you got to learn how to juggle.
Yeah, man.
Um, can not eat that. She likes to eat my earbuds. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it's not always chaotic here. It's pretty crowded. I'd like to have my own office. I don't know if I'd work any better with my own space, though. I don't know how much better I'd work because I kind of feed off the chaos a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you listen to music when you draw?
yeah, uh,
What do you listen to?
all kinds of things. Different music.
Do
Sometimes I
do you
listen to
have
classical. classical, sometimes metal, sometimes hip hop, sometimes old classic rock. It depends, man.
Yeah.
Just it all
Are
depends. I
you
like
on? Do, do you have Spotify or Apple Music? Like, how do you get your music?
I just I have Pandora or I'll YouTube videos or something like that.
So you don't have any sort of playlist that you have that you listen to?
I got different stations on Pandora set. I listen to Corn radio sometimes
Yeah,
if I'm trying to get into like a heavy groove, and
yeah.
that's got all kinds of things on it like Godsmack and Rob Zombie, and other heavy heavy bands, but not death metal. You know what I mean? Not really big into death metal. Or I'll put on like Eminem radio if I want to listen to hip hop, and they got a variety of things. It's not just Eminem, but they got a variety of the type of hip hop I like. Uh,
Yeah.
and then or classic rock. I like all classic rock. Pretty much everything that came out of the 70s, 60s, 70s, early 80s. Now I guess. Um,
I'm a big fan of yacht rock.
Yacht rock.
Yacht rock, man.
Oh,
You know,
God.
Hall and
Yeah.
Oates, Air Supply.
I just learned about yacht rock on Family Guy.
Yeah. AM Gold, baby. I'm a kid of the '70s, so that stuff makes me feel like I'm you know, basking in the sun of Dionne Warwick on solid gold. You
Yeah.
know,
Listening to
so
Sailing.
so Christopher Cross, man, he
Yeah.
got me, bam, got me right in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, if you need to cut the stream short, it's fine, man. You got responsibilities.
you.
We are we're we're very lucky.
Well, it'd probably be best if I did. My wife's probably out there trying to sleep right
Yeah,
now.
no problem.
She's a
Somebody
busy woman.
asked, one person asked, can we see a picture of your work? Like, do you have any work near you want to hold up other than your beautiful baby?
I got a character design I'm working on now, and I'm not sure. I haven't ran it by the customer as far as the look. I'll give you a little peek at just what scribble and it's not much. Don't judge me. But it's just a little bit of scribble on paper, and I'm not even sure if you can see it very well.
Yeah.
But this is all I got down right now, and it has no rendering, no shadowing, just the line work of this character. And like I said, I'm about to take this and just kind of blow it all out of proportion here soon too. So
I liked your it was like a Burt Reynolds looking vampire dude that you did.
yeah, I think Scotsman's in the chat right now if he's still here. I sent him the pencils to that. I sent him the pencils to that, and he wants to ink. He wants to put some ink on it on his. He
says I'm working on inking your vampire piece right now. Yeah, man.
Nice.
No, I really dug it because it was like when I was a kid, Smokey and the Bandit was like the shit, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted that Firebird. Everybody wanted to say, you know.
That was all Cal, man. I mean, I drew it, but the idea was all Cal. When Bert passed away, he was like, "Man, we got to do a homage character or homage or however you want to say it."
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You know, my favorite Burt Reynolds movie of all time though was Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights, yeah,
He's so good. He's so good in that. Like I like everything he's ever done. You know, even he did The Longest Yard.
Longest Yard was good, yeah.
You know, and that one where he was trying to impregnate the lady. I forget what it was called, but he was like trying to impregnate her with girls or something. And Cannonball Run, of course. You know, Cannonball Run movies. Those were sweet treats for children my age.
But when he got older, I liked him older. Yeah, Boogie Nights. He was in some other movie where it was like him and two other older actors that were retired mobsters. Maybe it had like Richard Dreyfuss, and I think they were retired mobsters in Miami or something like that. That was pretty good too. Yeah.
Oh, sweet girl. All right, man. Well, Rob, thank you so much as always.
Thanks for having me on,
And
man.
now, and Shinobi Sasquatch, they can find Shinobi Sasquatch on Indiegogo. The campaign is still running.
Oh yeah, it's going to be open until I think January. It's not the
Excellent.
campaign, but it's in demand. Yeah, so you can buy it there until January. After that, you're out of luck. I don't think.
When
I
is
think
when is the expected delivery of the book?
August.
August. I can't wait, man.
88 pages.
Yeah,
It started
I'm
off
jonesing.
as like 48 pages because of stretch goals, which is a thing I think I'm gonna not do in any further campaigns as far as additional pages, because it ends up pushing the production back, and I don't know if that's really good. So I think
Yeah, it's something. It's something to think about. It's something I think about because Black Flag. I have the story all written out, and I have different versions that are more blown out. Because you could take any action sequence and make it bigger. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So, but yeah, it's a interesting thing. But I'm
I'll have
glad
to get
people
some
can still get
feedback
it.
from the backers and see what they think about it. You know,
Well, I for one can't wait, man. Like
thanks. I
I
can't wait
wouldn't
for Black
say. Well, dude,
Flag.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you up and running. If you need any digital versions of the books, I'll send you the PDF, and
All right,
you
sweet.
can and you have carte blanche. You can. That's the thing. When I have somebody guest on my characters, they can do whatever they want as long
Great.
as it doesn't offend the great man above. You know.
That's good. That's good with me. I think
Yeah.
I think you'll I think you'll like that. The
Cool.
restrictions. I don't do good with restrictions. Um.
Nah,
So
we have none. We have
all right.
none. Just keep the monkey purple. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, your characters will stay true.
Yeah.
I want to be able to have a little fun with it too. You know.
Heck yeah. Of course. You can
All
blow
right.
limbs off if you want, man.
Okay. Great.
Well, have a great night, man.
You too,
Happy
Dan.
Tuesday to you.
Thank you.
You be well, man. All
You
right.
too.
Take it easy.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye.
Bye. All right, gang. That was Rob Willis. What an awesome interview to have him online. Uh, you guys check out his campaign, his and Cal's campaign for Shinobi Sasquatch on Indiegogo. You will not be sorry. Every piece I've ever seen from Shinobi Sasquatch has blown my mind. The t-shirts, the pinups, everything they have going on is something that, like I said, I find memorable. When I say it's like an earthquake happening, it's only happened a few times in my life, but when I saw his work, it was one of those times. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Couchdoodles live. Tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, my friends, He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse #1 comes out. You can get the regular cover, which is a wonderful one, or you can get cover B, which is drawn and inked by me and colored by the magnificent Matt Yackey. I'm going to say magnificent Matt Yackey because there's alliteration. And if you guys are anywhere near the Georgia area, you can meet Matt Yackey and myself at Kapow Comics on Saturday the 23rd at 12 noon, signing those books and talking about everything He-Man. Anyway, you guys, be awesome, be good to each other, draw something. If you feel like creating, I hope you're inspired by meeting creators like Rob Willis, who does what he does. I know I am. I know I have tough days, and I see his days, and it makes me want to be a stronger dude. So, you guys, go be strong. Take it easy. I'll see you on the next one. That is all. I'm Fragaboom, the host of Couchdoodles Live. See you on the next one.